Welcome to the Weekly Bat.
Welcome to the Weekly Bat for the week of April 25th to May 1st, 2020. Starting off this week with an announcement. Brave's latest desktop browser update, version 1.8.86, features the Binance widget, the first exchange browser integration of its kind, enabling seamless cryptocurrency trading and management. Here's a bit from the official blog post. Today's Brave desktop browser update features the Binance widget, the first exchange browser integration of its kind. Brave and Binance announced their integration on March 24th, and until today, a preview version of the widget was featured in Brave's nightly and beta versions for testing. Brave's browser currently has over 13.5 million monthly active users, and Binance is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume and users. This integration enables millions of users across the globe to seamlessly trade and manage cryptocurrency, all without leaving the browser. The Binance widget is easily accessible from the new tab page in the Brave desktop browser. The integration offers several functions for managing, buying, and trading cryptocurrency. Following the announcement, Binance CEO CZ tweeted, "My favorite browser just got better." Up next, a blog by Brave's Dr. Johnny Ryan. New data on GDPR enforcement agencies reveal why the GDPR is failing. 2 years after the GDPR was first applied, it is now in danger of failing. Today, Brave reveals why. The governments of EU member states have not given data protection authorities, or DPAs, the tools they need to enforce it. Brave has examined the number of tech specialists working in each DPA in the European Economic Area. These are tech investigators who have training or roles that are principally technical. Our data reveal just how few expert tech investigators are working to uncover private sector GDPR infringements. Even when wrongdoing is clear, DPAs hesitate to use their powers against major tech firms because they cannot afford the cost of legally defending their decisions against, quote, big tech legal firepower. Up next, an interview. Wei Zhou, who's the CEO of Binance, interviews Brendan Eich, Brave CEO, on Binance Podcast, episode 39, Why Brave Built a Privacy Browser. Episode description. In this episode of the Binance Podcast, Wei talks to Brendan Eich, the CEO and founder of Brave, the company behind the privacy-focused Brave browser, shares his views about the tracking-driven browser industry. With more than 20 years of experience, Brendan and his team identified the need for a browser that respects the privacy of its users and rewards them for their attention. We discuss how the large tech corporations tend to abuse your privacy and profit from your browsing data, how Brave stands up against this practice, and what the future of internet browsing holds. Up next, we have obtained the recording for a webinar that Johnny Ryan recently presented at. His presentation was titled, The Data Protection Crisis of Online Advertising, and the event was hosted by PrivSec. Here's a quick description of the talk. Brave has led a series of GDPR complaints in 16 EU countries against the vast data breach at the heart of the online advertising, quote, real-time bidding industry. Now, Brave has also filed a GDPR complaint against big tech internal data free-for-alls. Enforcement would be tantamount to a functional separation of the big walled gardens' businesses. Up next, we have another video for you. Watch Panos Papadopoulos' recent presentation at the Greek cryptocurrency community virtual meetup. By the way, Panos is a security researcher at Brave. His presentation and the video are in Greek, so if you speak or understand Greek, be sure to check it out. Up next, we have a sneak peek. Now, you'll only be able to see this if you check out the Weekly Bat blog post, so be sure to read the post if you're listening on a podcast platform or on YouTube. We've linked to it in the description box or in the show notes. And we are showing off a little sneak peek of Brave's upcoming self-serve advertiser dashboard. So if you've been curious about what that's going to look like, we've decided to share an early preview with you. This week in Sponsored Images. This week, eToro and BlockFi returned to Brave's new tab page following the success of their recent campaigns. And Crypto.com joins the list of brands running sponsored campaigns in Brave. If you aren't already familiar with Crypto.com, their mission is to accelerate the world's transition to cryptocurrency. Up next, Brave Creator Spotlight in partnership with Everpedia. The first featured creator of the week is Twitch streamer Alex Zedra. Alex Zedra is best known for her Call of Duty gameplay and cosplay. She's all about guns, gains, and games. Her channel is actually extremely cool, so take a look. The next featured creator of the week, or creators, I should say, is the Bitcoin family on YouTube. Here's their YouTube channel description. We sold all of our belongings to invest in Bitcoin and live our dream. We travel the world with a family of 5 and support Bitcoin to the fullest. Of course, we love other cultures, their food, beaches, sunsets, and all the other beautiful things the world has to offer. Our channel will be a combo of videos about our life and some informational videos about Bitcoin, other crypto, and blockchain. Links to both featured creators' channels as well as to their Everpedia entries can be found in the weekly BAT blog post. Moving on to client updates. This week, the desktop dev channel progressed to version 1.9.52, the beta channel progressed to version 1.8.87, and the desktop release channel progressed to version 1.8.86. Brave team tweets. Senior Developer Relations Brave Sampson tweets about the interview Wei Zhou from Binance did with Brendan this week. He says, "Awesome interview and only 28 minutes long. Brendan covers the origins of JavaScript, cookies, tracking, digital advertising, Brave, and more. He also discusses how Brave aims to rescue the web. You will absolutely love the episode." Moving on to Bat and Brave in the news. This first piece is by Decrypt. Brave integrates Binance's crypto widget. The world's biggest cryptocurrency-friendly browser, Brave, today integrated a trading widget that taps into the world's biggest and, to get the PR chumps back on our side, most noteworthy cryptocurrency exchange, Binance. We won't dive too deeply into that one because we already covered the news with the official blog post earlier in the episode. But if you'd like to read the Decrypt piece, the link is in the weekly BAT blog post. This next piece is by Android Authority. Should you switch to the Brave web browser? You fought in the browser wars? Asked Microsoft Edge. Yes, I was once a web browser, the same as your father, said Internet Explorer 6. Okay. That doesn't quite have the same dynamic as Luke's and Obi-Wan's conversation in A New Hope. However, the browser wars were a thing at one point. I also wrongly thought that they were over, except for a few skirmishes. But once in a while, someone somewhere says to themselves, "What we need is another web browser." At that point, I would normally groan and move on. However, things are a little different with the Brave browser. Historically, a new web browser meant some nerd wanted to write a better HTML, CSS rendering engine and a super fast JavaScript engine and then wrap a UI around it. The quote, engine wars are basically over with the Chromium engine called Blink, basically powering everything, Chrome, Opera, Edge, Vivaldi. The notable exceptions are Firefox and Apple's Safari. The Brave browser uses Blink, so it isn't special in that regard. What makes it special is its emphasis on making privacy and safety front and center. Let's take a look at what this browser brings to the table in this Brave browser review. Ooh, that sounds like one you don't want to miss. Up next, news you should know. This piece is by Laptop Mag. Here's the easiest way to protect your gaming accounts: Xbox Live, Nintendo, Steam, and more. Gaming accounts have become a popular target for hackers in recent years. There are a number of examples in 2020 alone, including reports of numerous Nintendo Switch accounts being breached and companies like Epic looking to encourage users to enable two-factor authentication, or 2FA, after a significant breach last year. While this is a concerning trend, most gaming companies now support at least some form of 2FA, and enabling it across your accounts isn't as difficult as you might think. This next piece is from Forbes. Warning over Chinese mobile giant Xiaomi recording millions of people's private web and phone use. It's a backdoor with phone functionality, quips Gabby Serling about his new Xiaomi phone. He's only half joking. Serling is speaking with Forbes after discovering his Redmi Note 8 smartphone was watching much of what he was doing on the phone. That data was then being sent to remote servers hosted by another Chinese tech giant, Alibaba, which were ostensibly rented by Xiaomi. The seasoned cybersecurity researcher found a worrying amount of his behavior was being tracked, whilst various kinds of device data were also being harvested, leaving Serling spooked that his identity and his private life was being exposed to the Chinese company. Roaring fans. Cameron Asa posts on Reddit, over 600K creators now signed up with Brave. 17% growth in 1 month. Exponential growth seems to be starting. That just about wraps it up for this week. If you would like to read the full stories whose headlines we cover in the podcast, be sure to check out the Weekly Bat blog post, which you can find a link for in the description box if you're listening from YouTube or in the show notes if you're listening on a podcast app or player. Thank you for listening. If you like these podcasts, be sure to follow or subscribe to stay up to date with the Bat community.